Hey guys! The leaks for Jujutsu Kaisen Manga chapter 222 is finally out after the 2 weeks break. And the chapter is looking pretty interesting. We see Sukuna consuming the remaining fingers, Kenjaku scheming as usual, Gojo preparing for the upcoming battle and many more. Before we start, please like and subscribe with the bell notification turned on for more Jujutsu Kaisen contents. Without any further delay, let's get down to the video. From the previous chapter before the 2-week break, we see Gojo finally unsealed. After 19 days in the Jujutsu world and over a 1000+ day in the real world, he was unsealed by Angel, who activates her curse technique, Jacob's ladder, and Gojo was finally free. He teleports straight to Kenjaku but was apprehended by Sukuna. He mocks Sukuna and defeats Uram with a punch, promising to defeat Sukuna. The title of Jujutsu Kaisen Manga chapter 222 is The Omen. The leak starts with Sukuna and Uram communicating. We see Sukuna consuming the remaining fingers while Uram apologizes for not finding all Sukuna's fingers. She found the 4 fingers, remaining 1. Which means Sukuna has consumed 19 fingers altogether, remaining 1. Sukuna tells Uram not to worry, that he is sure Gojo has the last finger. He says Gojo might have safeguarded a finger to make Yuji's execution invalid, cause the condition to execute Yuji was after he consumes all Sukuna's fingers. Uram apologizes again but Sukuna says he can replace 1 finger with the Buddhish mummy. We switch to Kenjaku, who is seating on a sofa. He asks his Kogen how many players have died by getting their cursed technique removed, and Kogen replied with 61. The scene switches to Gojo. We see him getting treated and getting briefed on everything that happened when he was away. Gojo says he thought Nanami was a kind of guy who would survive anything. Then Gojo says he got a big work to do. The scene changed to Mei this time. She's looking at a gambling site which is being made for Gojo and Sukuna fight. She is delighted that even without placing any bets she can make up to 50 million yen just by selling the tickets. Next, we see Yuji and Kusakabe training. Yuji easily overwhelms Kusakabe and says this should be enough for a warm-up. I feel we are going to enter a training arc, before Gojo and Sukuna fight. Next, we see Yuta and Inumaki talking. Yuta says he didn't tell Yuji the reason Inumaki is missing an arm is because of Sukuna and said Yuji should not have to take responsibility for what Sukuna did, and Inumaki seems to agree to what Yuta said. We see a time skip to December 24th, the day where Gojo and Sukuna fights. We see a conversation between Sukuna, Uram and Kenjaku. Kenjaku says while Sukuna fights Gojo, he will eliminate the other players, while Uram looks pissed and tells Kenjaku to get lost, but Kenjaku replies that they shouldn't blame him. He doesn't stick with Sukuna because he doesn't want to be killed by Gojo. He says even if Gojo loses, there are still others like Okatsu who will still pose a threat. The scene changes to Hikari and Panda trying to find the best thing to say to Gojo before he goes out to fight Sukuna. And they all agree that Gojo is obviously winning the fight. Gojo enters the scene alongside Gakuganji and Utahime. Gojo has an intimidating aura around him making Hikari, Yuta and Maki hesitate to approach him. But Yuji goes to him and says, "Sensei, your curse technique is in the way." Even Gojo was perplexed, but he laughs and says bring it on and allows Yuji to give a big pat on his shoulder. Seeing Yuji, all the students gathers and give a pat on Gojo's back, encouraging him. Maki tells him, "Get going stupid blindfold, prove that you're not just a good-looking guy." Yuta says, "If it's getting rough, I'll switch with you." Hikari tells Gojo to win. Gojo was feeling really motivated. The chapter ends with, 1 versus 1 of the strongest will start.